right, man. Don, I bring you some more Ren. Now, this one is deep, my player, and they want you to react. They've been asking me to put this in front of you. The tale of Jenny and Screech. The full tale.
Honestly, I'm kind of nervous.
In classic fashion. What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus.
And it's your boy, Inspector Don Juan.
Yeah, man.
About to try and crack this case.
Yep. So Don has never, you guys saw that I've exposed him to Ren on the channel.
Yes,
and I think we've done 2 reactions in total. I think 2, maybe 3. I think 2. But the one thing you guys have been asking, you've been asking me to get Don in front of the tale of Jenny and Screech and Andy Rue. Both of them have never seen it, so I'll bring Andy at some point if that's what you guys really want. But this is his reaction to the tale of Jenny and Screech. Now, I have seen this, and I guess I don't want to say too much. I want to get an authentic reaction and see how you put this whole thing together. But I will tell you this, you need to pay attention.
I know, this is what's funny about these reactions is that, like, there's a part of me that wants to just sit back and enjoy it for what it is and, like, listen to it multiple times. But then there's the other side of it that it's like, I'm cracking a case apparently, and I know that Ren songs are deep and that there's like a meaning there, and part of the enjoyment is trying to see if you can kind of get what the storyline is. So I've got to like be Sherlock Holmes versus Moriarty.
Sherlock homeboy right here. So yeah, man, let's get into this, you guys. You know how we do it, man. Been really having a fun time with these Ren reactions. We appreciate you guys who are tapping in for those specifically. But hey, let's get this train started. You know what it is. Oh, like, share, and comment on all the content. And keep subscribing. We're on our way to 100K, and we're going to do it together. Let's go. 40.
40-year-old boys are back in town. 40. Boys are back in town. 40-year-old boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. Malt liquor for your ears. 40.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, welcome to
All right, I got my little pad here, and I need a pen so I can take notes.
All right, let me get this logo down and the video up. You guys, don't forget, we got a bunch of cool reactions on the channel. Harry Mack, Coast Contra, Toby Nwigwe, Nightwish. I almost said Night Watch. We got a bunch of stuff. Check out the reactions.
Get your mind right.
But most importantly, check out some of the original content. I have original music videos, songs, sketches, freestyles off the top of the brain. So rock with us for the original stuff, like the reactions. And yes, I have a new music video planned, it out right now. If you would go leave a comment and watch it, that would be epic. But regardless, let's keep this thing moving, man. We are on the Ren train. Now, you guys are used to the Ren roller coaster where I play 3 joints, but this kind of is 3 joints because what happened is I think there's 3 videos. It's like the tale of Jenny, then Screech, then Violet's tale. It's like a whole story. So,
you about to have a threesome in this? Yeah, my man Ren. I know you've been through some hard times. You deserve it, bruv.
Frickin' Don. He knows how to, make things really weird. Anyways, all right, so let's get things started, man. In very, I was going to say typical, but Ren is not typical. But I'm going to say it just for the...
An atypical and neurodivergent fashion?
For atypical Ren fashion, let's get into this amazing finger-style guitar. That's when you're playing it with your fingers, right? Finger style. I learned that. Because of Ren. Let's get it. All right, you guys. Let's dive in, man. Here we go. Don, open your ears. Yeah, open your ears. Close your eyes. Tuck your D. Let's get it.
Press play already. Damn, he's rocking the Huskers.
was a quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet, she was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech, he was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief, at 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sounded in the distance at the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Up or go Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it. Bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like
I was hoping for a love story. Maybe this is going to take a turn, but this is a weird start to a love story if it is.
You better pay attention. I was just going to highlight that it's another performance piece. He's really good at these performance pieces. Catching him live would actually be amazing. I wonder what he would do.
Yeah.
Obviously
coming from the busking background, that his soul is in performance. Like there's something to that.
Look at his face. Like everything is just, because this is my second time seeing this, but I'm able to like just see little things that I haven't seen before. The one thing I wanted to highlight that I've noticed is reoccurring with Ren. I think he has a thing for the 90s because
obviously look at him.
Well, like I said, I've seen more videos than you have, and I even noticed in one video he was pegging his pants.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a thing that we used to do when we were like 8 or like 9. So I just thought it was interesting. But
yeah, this whole thing is 90s fashion.
Yeah,
he's rocking a Nebraska.
Kanai. He's rocking Carl Kanai pants.
Cornhuskers jacket.
Well, it's because it's a starter coat from the 90s. That's
no, I
why.
get that, but I'm just saying that the Huskers, that's very niche.
Yeah, that is.
I know it's in Nebraska that would jump in for that jacket.
Dude, it's probably worth a lot.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
In America, that'd be worth a...
Bro, in Nebraska loves their Huskers, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, I think I brought it back a little bit so you can get back into this focus. I'm not going to stop much during this because the story...
Yeah.
free, I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath. It was a quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete, she's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame. the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. Dear Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away. Hey, babe, are you in? Nah, nothing really, I'm just a bit tired, listen. Can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch, for fuck's sakes! Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest. Our story, it ends right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
So, was that Violet he was calling?
You're about to find out. I can't tell.
What is wild to me, to be completely real with you, is when he pulled out his cell phone, I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, literally just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And I just had no idea, like, where is he going with this?
Yeah.
You know? That's just like rare that I'm like listening to music and just have a moment where I'm baffled and have no idea what direction it's going to go with the music, and just all these little elements. I can honestly say, like, you know, I compared Bohemian Rhapsody because it was like this rock opera, but I can honestly say I've never listened to anything that is like Ren. Like, he is unique in his storytelling, that he does it in such a way with even just the videos and the choices that he makes with the editing and just doing these live, you know, single, you know, cuts. I mean, I've just never seen anything like it. It's completely unique to him.
How epic it was when he said the 4 shots, then he's like, boom, boom.
This is what I'm saying.
And then the camera dropped. I was like, these brothers are really like, as I'm creating art behind the scenes and working on writing some of my stuff, I get a lot of inspiration from Ren to be a little more creative and dive deeper into my imagination. And then from NF, I get a little more like, be a little more vulnerable with my audience and tell them things, you know, even how, anyways, I don't want to ramble. I really like this because it just has me in a different state of thought and mind. And because I'm an artist that creates, it also is pushing me to want to do more. Like, I'm like, because I'm, you know me, I'm not really a artsy guy. I'm a rough around the edges type of guy. Yo, what's up? Hip hop, but it's like, I just know because of hip hop and my poetry, because I know there's an art in me deeper that we've touched in our younger years, and I'm just like, anyways, I don't want to ramble, but I love love that this inspires.
One of the things that I take from this is that he's taking risks. He's going out on a limb and doing things that are different, which is why it's unique. It's why I can honestly say I have never seen anything like it, and I feel like that's where you have these artists that transcend time, that become those people that get spoken of, like David Bowie, of being people who push the boundaries of what is music, like where can you go with it, what can you do artistically, what is, you know, the fashion that's involved in it. It's like all these things, but in order to do that, you have to take risks. And sometimes when you're taking risks, you might make things that aren't, like, I don't want to say great, but it's harder to digest.
Yeah, a lot popular. Of times people you might not make something that's popular to the masses or something like that. And
a lot of times it gets slept on because you get those things you hear about, like, oh, there's this cult movie that came out, and when it came out, it bombed in the box office, but 20 years later, people love it and they talk about it, and people like Quentin Tarantino will go back and say, oh, these are the movies that inspired me. Yeah. And it's the same way with music.
Because there's an awakening. The consciousness of the masses awaken at certain times because the way society kind of drives.
Yeah, because these motherfuckers are out here eating baby food, and he's bringing steak. You know what I mean?
This is hitting now, but there is a possibility, like 20 years from now, it might be people are like, it's critically acclaimed. It's well deserved. But let's get into this story, man. All right, here's the final piece, and let's see what you make of this. I can't lie, I have seen him in more hospital gowns than normal clothes.
Turn around, man. Let's see them cheeks.
Nah, you gotta have a little fun on these reactions. Let's go. All right, let's get into this. I do see why you said Spanish guitar, though. You feeling that?
Or classic.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstains, she saw a lady weep, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
Was Jenny pregnant?
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent Island girl and Violet, she fell fast. See, Stevie was the wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tight, but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood splat, bone crack, knick knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I wanna do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Crazy. Well, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, he basically ties it up with the bow. Interesting. I mean, there's so many different things that I'm taking away from this. For one, it's just like there's so many interesting choices that he just makes musically. Mm-hmm. Like going back to the artistic choices of just the way he's playing the guitar, the way he's singing, the pauses that he takes. I get, again, maybe somebody out there will be like, oh, this is kind of like this band that did that. But I personally have just heard nothing like it. I've never heard anyone, play a song like this. Yeah. It's like almost something different. Like I am almost hesitant to just be like, oh, this is just like music. Like it's a performance.
Yeah.
And there's like a play that's being conducted and like, I don't know. I haven't looked to see if this is on Spotify, but I almost feel like just the whole of like the music video goes together to make it a complete work, in my opinion.
Now, with the story, what was your take on the whole story? How'd you see the story play out?
I mean, obviously, Violet was the mother of those two. They probably, got sent to separate homes or something like that, and then they meet in the streets years later. Yeah. And that's why he was saying, is like this a tragedy? Is it, a miracle?
Yeah, it's interesting because
that's my takeaway.
what I saw in it was this cycle of abuse.
Yes, that's the deeper meaning too, as well, that I took from it, is that, you know, you have this abuse that goes on, and yes, to your point.
It's just the irony of the way he wrote this, and it kind of hurts because on the same day Jenny and Screech were born, they both died on the same day. I'm wondering if there's a deeper meaning to that, if that was put in there. Like, it's just really, it's very sophisticated the way this was put together. Mm-hmm. The only thing that this reminds me of a little bit, it doesn't remind me of it, but I got the same feeling when I heard the story, was Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil. Yeah. When he ends it, he's like, I was on the roof, and you know what I mean? And you're like, yo, what? And that's when he was just like, Jenny and Screech, and it ends, you're like, oh, snap. You know, there's so much there. There's so many intricate details to this. Listening to it again, it's wild. It is really wild. It's wild to hear. The other thing that, if you really go in depth, because I got to hear this a second time, the children took on the traits of the parents. Because Violet was abused by Stevie, I think he said the name was. And that's probably who got her pregnant, because she was getting abused by her father and Stevie. So it's interesting. Screech took on the same traits as his father, and Jenny took on similar traits of her mother. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's really deep. The more I like, because again, like, I'm trying to think back on all these different things.
you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about the circle of violence. I mean,
it's really wild.
Yeah, Ren's music is deep. We started talking politics on the last reaction, and some people were vibing with it. Some people were upset about certain comments that were made.
Excuse me.
That, to me, is the mark of, art. True art, right? Is that it creates a conversation. So I think that's why, now I understand why people are so, what's the right word that I'm looking for? I don't want to say fanatics, because I feel like that's almost like demeaning to a degree. It's like why people are so emotionally invested in Ren is because he creates conversations. I mean, these things go deep, and it's kind of like what I was, saying on the last reaction, that, a lot of music is just like surface, and it doesn't go very deep, and people will shy away because they don't want to have the mental processing to, spend the time to really like get into the music.
Yeah.
It takes work.
And when we think about this now, this is a very cliche, corporate movie, but Star Wars, when you didn't know Princess Leia and Luke were brother and sister, it's you're kind of like, oh, like it gets this twist. And it's like, it's interesting how he tied it all together with that end sequence about probably 4 bars or 2 bars. And you're like, and then the whole screen goes black, and you're just like, oh, I get it. Like, because you're like, where is this going for the whole thing? Because you even were like, I forgot what you said. Is Jenny pregnant? Like, you said something like, you're like, where is this going? And you really don't know. It's really a cliffhanger until the last 2 bars. You're like, oh.
There's something in art called a triptych, which is like a 3-piece piece of artwork.
I'm not familiar.
So you can do it as typically where I've seen it is like a painting. It's called a triptych because there's 3 pieces of art, 3 paintings that go together.
Yeah.
And they go together depending on the artist. It might be like, complementary where they all fit together. It might be 3 different stories. It could be like this. And yeah, once again, speaking to the depth of what he's doing, I imagine that he foresaw this and was like, hey, I'm going to write this story over the course of 3 songs, release them in this fashion, and then let people put them together.
Yeah, this was very deliberate. Like, this was...
And again, it just like, I just commend it because once again, you're seeing a person who's really pushing the boundaries of their music and themselves to try and create something that is, that's great. I mean, that's what he's working towards. You can tell.
Yeah. I'm glad we did this one today. Cause today we've been talking about energy. We've been doing a bunch of reactions, and I didn't want to go to this heavy emotional energy but this was just a good story. Like it's thought provoking, makes you think, makes you, it also, the other thing is me having a daughter and a wife to protect. I think of these things with these stories, they take me to another place of like, just trying to be a good man and trying to, have good kids and bring good to the world, because that is a part of your duty. It's just interesting, man, just hearing this stuff, and like, it's sad, but it also is just like, it's just amazing story. And it just something that makes you think and start firing on different cylinders. I'm all for it.
Well, how many artists out there, musicians, are really taking on these subjects in that way and bringing this to the light? Because, I was in a 15-year relationship, recently separated, right? And I've been thinking about why I chose this person, because if I was choosing a stable relationship, that's probably not the best person to choose.
Yeah.
Because of, if we're talking about, cycles of violence or things like that, there was a cycle that existed in her life with her parents and her mother and father, right? That impacted the way that she engaged in relationships, right?
Yep.
So it'd be very easy for me to sit there and place the blame on her for certain things that happened. But what I've been doing is looking internally and asking, why did I select a partner that probably wasn't complementary to having a long-term relationship to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, the reason I know of a triptych is because of her. She's the one who introduced me to art. Like, I chose her because she helped me go a certain direction in my life that I needed to go. Mm-hmm. But I'm also looking at myself and saying, why was I choosing these unhealthy, things in another person? And it's because of my unhealthy internal state that was passed on to me from my father, that was passed on to him from his father.
Yeah.
So that's why music like this can be very important, because it's bringing these things to light and talking about these cycles that get perpetuated, whether it's like out and out, like neither one of us had like horrific abuse like that.
Yeah.
But there was a cycle of, unhealthy behavior inside of relationships that I got, from my dad. She got, from certain aspects of her family, not to disparage them. I love her side of the family, but it's just a reality.
Yeah.
Right. And then recognizing like how, you were talking about your daughter, and that's what I'm thinking about. Like, how can I do my best to not pass on this cycle to my son so that he doesn't make the same mistakes and that he actually chooses healthy relationships?
Yep. And to add to that, for all you healthy ladies out there, he's single now. So,
All single ladies. All single ladies.
There's that unhealthy cycle. All right, you guys.
This was actually a commercial for Don Juan.
Don Juan's, what is it? ChristianMingle.com,
Yeah,
FarmersOnly.com, RoofersOnly.com.
Yes, ladies.
All right, you guys, don't forget to like, share, and comment on all the content. If you're rocking with the vibe, subscribe to the channel, help a brother out, help play us out. You know what I'm saying? Help us get it popping. You know what it is. 40.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ boys. 40.
That's why I like the Ren stuff, because it never really gets old.